So in today's video, we're putting on our detective hat and accompanying monocle to look at some potential 100x gem cryptos. Now, if you don't know, this is a series that we're doing where we do some deep dive into these projects. They call me the king of tabs for a reason. I really try and do my best to dive into the potential that exists in these low cap, 5 to $15 million market cap cryptocurrencies. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Dora Factory and its goals to revolutionize DAO and DAO infrastructure and development. Now, a couple logistical things before we go ahead and dive in here. My name is Ryan. This is the No Autopilot YouTube channel. As I mentioned, we go through these projects in depth, so there is a lot of information to digest. I have added timestamps in the description of the video down below, so you can easily just bounce around to whatever component interests you the most. And with that said, I do have one ask for you. So if you agree with my overall sentiment of the Dora Factory project, go ahead and hit a thumbs up on this video. And as well, if you disagree, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And I think from that, we'll be able to kind of get a general consensus of the community's feeling on Dora Factory and its potential. If you want to go the extra step and add any additional commentary in the comments down below, I'll respond to every last single one of them. And if you want to stay in the loop on any more content I pump out similar to this in my 100x series, go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. So the first thing we need to do is try and understand what Dora Factory is as best as, well, you and I can. So Dora Factory is creating a software as a service model where they're going to have software for DAOs that crypto projects can pay to access and use because it might be cheaper or faster than them trying to develop it on their own. Now, if you don't know, a DAO means a decentralized autonomous organization. So if we look at something like compound finance, right, it's a money market that's built on Ethereum where you can lend Bitcoin and receive or borrow dollars against it. It's awesome because it's unstoppable and permissionless, right? It's all built into the code. There's no middleman in the middle checking your credit score. So where DAOs come in is, let's say Compound want to look at adding in new markets, or they want to change some parameters, or they want to take a vote to issue comp tokens to individuals who have participated in the comp ecosystem. All those things can be taken to a vote using a DAO. And so what happens is if you hold that comp token, you're able to use them to vote yes or no, or even propose something that should be taken to a vote. So like the prior model of a select individual or select individuals making a decision that affects everybody who uses the infrastructure, uses the technology, is being replaced by these DAO systems where really if you're a holder of the comp token, you're able to voice your opinion and help determine the future track of that protocol. There's a lot of folks who are thinking that DAOs are going to be the next major innovation when it comes to cryptocurrency, right? So we had our NFT phase, we had our DeFi phase. And so with these DAOs, from a user standpoint, you want trust that your money isn't just going to disappear and the protocol is going to fold, right? And so by having a DAO in place, you're able to really influence your will a little bit by voting on what happens with the protocol. And then from the protocol standpoint, they really don't want the liability of having to manage, hundreds of millions of dollars of people's funds just on their own back. And so having these DAO structures in place really allow everybody to win. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. So when we look at Dora Factory, there's a couple pieces that they've built in here. So one, they created a ecosystem where if you're a developer and you create some technology for a DAO, you can host it on Dora Factory. And if a DAO were to use it and bolt it onto maybe what they've already created, then you would be compensated in the Dora token. In addition, we mentioned the software as a service model where they're going to have, I imagine, some pre-built canned versions of DAOs that you as a cryptocurrency project can access and use without having to go through the lengthy process of building your own and paying for that. They also have a substantial backing by a global community of hackers. So, DoraHacks is a group that was actually also created by Dora Factory way back. And it's just a group of like minded individuals who are very skilled when it comes to cryptocurrency and technology in general, and they're able to rally around projects to earn compensation and help solve problems. So the last piece of this here is the on-chain governance. So again, creating ecosystems where DAOs can easily manage voting, grants, bounties, and funding. So one thing that's interesting is we mentioned HackerLink. So imagine that you own your own cryptocurrency project, you have a smaller team, and you have a project arise and you're not quite sure how to solve it. Your team isn't sure how to solve it. So you can pose that to HackerLink, which is a pool of hackers in essence, and really allow them to solve that problem for you because they have the expertise. And in doing so, they're rewarded with a bounty. So Dora Factory, one of their goals is to take HackerLink and integrate it into Dora Factory, where this is going to be in essence, a talent pool that protocols can utilize to go ahead and scale faster and quicker and more efficiently. So with DoraHacks, what I think is interesting and noteworthy here is it gives Dora Factory a substantial pool of highly skilled talent that they can rally around. So these individuals can earn compensation for helping solve some issues that are posed through HackerLink, or they can create some of these tools for the DAO and post them on Dora Factory. When you look across cryptocurrency as a whole, one of the biggest challenges is the lack of talent. And so having this deeply ingrained and entrenched community behind Dora Factory is substantial and shouldn't be understated. Now, there's also a couple of folks who have come out of this DoraHacks that I think are worth mentioning. Earlier this year, I did a review of my cryptocurrency portfolio, and I spoke on Akala and their Karura crowd loan on Kusama, and how that is probably one of my best decisions from an investing standpoint in 2021. And it turns out the folks behind Akala are participants in DoraHacks and came out of the DoraHacks team, as well as the Polygon Matic group. So again, if you watched my portfolio video, you know I'm very bullish on Polygon Matic, and those individuals came out of DoraHacks as well in 2018. So again, it just really speaks to the caliber of talent that the Dora Factory has access to through DoraHacks. Now, when we look at some individual use cases, some of these are kind of eye-popping, to be honest with you. So we talked about being able to use funding and bounty initiatives to get developers to rally around issues or projects and solve them so they can be compensated and rewarded in doing so. What about venture DAOs? So you have a DAO in place and everybody gets to vote on what unicorn or what cryptocurrency project they want to invest the treasuries funds into. So it almost acts as your own little cryptocurrency venture capital fund that's managed by DAO. Even going so far as looking at it from a decentralized media standpoint. So you can organize journalists around a DAO where the community asks, and takes a vote on what type of topics they want to see covered, and then they directly fund those individuals in covering those topics. So it's a whole paradigm shift that is super interesting. Now, when we look at the Dora token, so Dora is the fuel that's used in the Dora Factory ecosystem. So DAOs would consume Dora when they go ahead and engage with those pallets that are on Dora Factory. In addition, developers again would earn Dora tokens anytime a DAO would use the technology that they put into Dora Factory. Now, there's also going to be validators and maintainers. So if you help maintain the network of Dora Factory, you could earn Dora tokens for rewards and transaction fees. And then finally, of course, because we're talking about DAOs, you can use your Dora tokens to help guide the governance of the Dora Factory protocol. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into a little bit of a deeper example here. And this might get a little bit blurry, but just deal with it. Sorry. So let's say there's community contributors here on the left. Okay, this is me. This is you. This is your friend. This is my friend. And we all say, hey, I think this protocol should go in this direction or that direction, or we should add this functionality or take away that functionality. What we're able to do is take our Dora tokens and go ahead and contribute it to each of those projects that are listed. And whatever gets the most Dora tokens would then be assigned to a developer who would be compensated out of the treasury from Dora Factory. So it really creates a ability for the holders of the token to determine the future of the protocol. And it's just a really, really interesting take on moving these protocols forward. So the next area we're going to take a look at here is the founding group, right? So Steve Knock, whose last name I probably butchered, I'm so sorry, Steve. He's the founding member behind Dora Factory, and he's actually a partner with DoraHacks as well, along with this gentleman here, whose name I'm going to butcher, and is actually serving as the architect right now for Dora Factory. So they have a substantial history in putting together DoraHacks, being ingrained with that community, guiding individuals in their pursuit of venture capital around projects that they put together. And so there's a great deal of experience with this group. I went ahead and I listened to this OKX interview. I'll link it down below if you want to go ahead and listen to it yourself. But it was really eye-opening to hear Steve explain how DAOs could very well be the future of cryptocurrency, as people are looking for more and more trust and protocols are looking for less and less liability. Now, when we pull up the Dora Factory token, so it's around 482 right now with a total market cap around $50 million. There's a total supply of 10 million tokens with a 1 million token inflation every single year. That amount can change based on, of course, the DAO community vote if they decide to increase it or decrease it. Oh, the information in regards to their early tokenomics is a little light, so this is going to be a little bit different than my typical video, but they went ahead and had a initial coin sale where they were selling tokens for around $8 per Dora, which again is kind of a discount for where it is right now. They also went ahead and had several successful funding ventures with all these different venture capitalist funds. And I think that is a very, very promising sign when you look at these type of projects to see that much VC money pile in. And again, we have it pulled up here. The one in particular that I like to follow that I think is really ahead of the curve when it comes to investing in some of these projects is AU21. If you don't already, I would follow them on Twitter and try and stay in the loop on anything they're putting their money behind. So the one thing that I have to be honest was a little bit of a letdown was when it came to digging into the holder wallets. So I have Etherscan pulled up and we're on Dora Factory. If you've watched any of my other 100x videos, you know that if there's a token that has over 10% in a single wallet, it kind of scares me because what could happen is that individual could go ahead and offload their tokens if Dora were to 10x in price suddenly, and it could crash the pricing for everyone else, all the other holders. And so in Dora's case, they have 4. And so I actually went the route of joining the Dora Factory Telegram, and I thought politely asked, hey, is there any public information on who owns these addresses and what are they marked for? And I was consequently banned immediately from the Telegram. So I don't know if it's maybe they had a rule about spreading FUD and they thought I was spreading FUD, but that was a little iffy. Now, when we look at the DAO ecosystem, so the total assets under management right now is around 641 million, where money in these pools, in these treasuries, are overseen by DAO. And in the last month, it has increased $195 million. It's substantial, with a large portion of that coming out of Rarible. And I highly predict that this trend is going to continue, as again, I do think that DAOs are going to be the future evolution of cryptocurrency projects. Although I was a little disappointed that they banned me from their Telegram for asking what I thought was a completely fair question. By the way, if you want to unban me, it's no autopilot YT over there. Over to you, Dora Factory, on that. But I was pleased to see that they received grants from the Web3 Foundation. So if you didn't know, the Web3 Foundation provides development teams grant money, in essence, to continue to develop their technology for decentralized software. And not only did they receive one, but they received two. So DoraHacks received a grant, as well as Dora Factory. And when we look at Dora Factory, it's really pleasing to see that they hit their first delivery. So when you get these grants, it isn't like they just give you the money and both parties walk away and that's it. You have to show that you're executing on the plan of your deliverables. You're going to have this ready by this date. It's going to look like this, feel like this, act like this. And Dora Factory has done that. And in fact, not only once, they've done that twice. This is just posted 4 days ago, but they went ahead and hit the second milestone of that Web3 Foundation grant. So when we look at the roadmap, what to expect next. So they're working on that HackerLink integration, which I think is really, really interesting to see how that develops. Again, talent is super scarce right now. And so having a infrastructure in place like this to quickly and efficiently get some of your development problems solved, I think is very, very interesting. And then they're going to look at launching on Kusama, which is Polkadot's sister network. I would imagine this to happen probably around Q4 of 2021. And around that time, the protocol should be in a more robust state of liveness, if you will. So where can you buy it? So it is currently available on Bitmart, which I'll leave a link in the description down below if you want to use my referral link. I think overall for me, what I like about Dora Factory is the product seems super interesting. It seems to be a growing area where a lot of folks are going to be looking towards those DAO organizations to help manage their funds and keep their communities happy and grow their protocols. I was pleased to see that the founders have such a extensive background in tech, as well as a community from DoraHacks. I love to see that folks from Akala and Polygon Matic have come out of those DoraHacks people or those groups. It just shows you the quality of skill set that exists in that cooperative. What I didn't like was the massive whales of holders of the tokens. Now the protocol is still early, so there could be some very, very reasonable reasons for why they're set up that way. If anybody from Dora Factory wants to share in the comments down below who owns those addresses or what they're for, I'll be sure to go ahead and pin them as the top comment so everybody can see it. And then obviously I didn't like being banned from the Telegram for just simply asking that question that I think any investor would, reasonably want to know. Long term, I'm not going to go ahead and buy Dora Factory right now, but I am watching the project very closely. And as they go ahead and continue to execute on their roadmap, I could very likely see this as something that I add into my portfolio. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Reminder, thumbs up if you agreed with my overall sentiment, thumbs down if you disagreed, and then feel free to engage in the comment section to share why, one way or another, you felt the way you felt. My name is Ryan. This is No Autopilot. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.